What time is it? Your show. Yeah, what time is it? Your show. Yeah, what time is it? Your show. Yeah, he's back from the dead. Your show. Putting it on the map, yeah. Saskatoon. Right next to New York. New York. Yeah, what show, yeah. Your show. What time is it? Your show. Yeah, time to talk some shit, yeah. Your show.
You've tuned in, yeah?
Yeah, von Maggie. Bark, bark, wolf, wolf, who wants a treat, yeah? Keep listening.
This is why we love going live. Welcome to the Wednesday edition of your show. My name is Gary, and we got a lot going on in here. Dare I say it's a hot studio. Welcome to the only live show, as far as we know, that goes live from 4 to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday here on YouTube, and the number one ranked show that has a dog kick off the show and have her not listening. Margaret, old Ben Kenobi Nickel, please report. Up. Good girl. Before we get to our guests, it is time now to check in for another exciting edition of the Maggie Cam. There you go. Proudly brought to you by our good friends over at Pet Planet on 8th Street, your pet's natural grocer. Oh, I love them over there so much. Mike, Rochelle, and Maggie's boyfriend, Leroy, always happy to make your day the best ever. She's going right now. She's going over to Pet Planet to give you the best day of your life. And if you go there after hours, you will also see Kirsten, Shar, or Chris, and they will also help you with that same service that you've come to know and love, thanks to our friends over at Pet Planet on 8th Street. Maggie, it was a pretty good run. Pretty good run. As we get set for another amazing weekend in the beautiful city of Saskatoon, our quest to bring music back to Broadway continues with our good friends with Bloom Entertainment, as well as our friends over at 3 Hall. And we have this weekend's performers, I guess, in the house now. Give it up for Reid and Lacy Joyce with the sides done. Yeah. There we go. Welcome to the studio, ladies. How you guys doing?
Doing awesome.
Yeah?
Yes.
Is it hot? Now, I noticed that I'm sweating a lot. Are you guys a little bit?
Yeah.
I wish we could have the AC. We just put it away for the winter.
Welcome to Saskatchewan.
Well, exactly. That's sort of how it goes, isn't it? So what's going on is our friends over at 3 Hall are putting on a unplugged open mic night on Friday, which you guys will be playing at. And then on Saturday night, you guys will be performing as the host band for the evening, which is a very cool little concept. So I want to take this time now to introduce people to you and what you guys got going on. So Raven, we'll start with you. Tell us what's going on in your life, because you got a lot. We were just talking before. There's a lot of things happening.
I really do.
And be sure to lean in there a little bit just so we got you.
I really do have a lot of things going on.
Yes.
Last year I was signed to Marilyn Music Incorporated, which is a label in Toronto.
Nice.
And since then I've dropped 2 singles. One last week by the title of A Johnny Cash Night.
I love that.
And it's really deadly.
Is
I love
it
too.
all about Johnny Cash?
Yeah,
As in, like,
it's about growing
what
up.
you would be doing when you
Yeah.
go, yeah. Do it like Johnny did.
It's about growing up in Prince Albert.
Nice.
So,
I love that.
imagination.
And so where can people find that? You want to guide people to your
they
stuff?
can totally find it on all platforms.
Okay.
Any
just
platform.
Search your name,
Spotify,
search
yeah.
the song. Okay.
Search my names, Google www.ravenreid.com.
Perfect. I love that. What else? Because we were joking about the list that I got sent
I
here
know,
from
I'm going to
King.
say it really fast though. So I'm working with CAMP, Community Arts Mentorship Program.
Yes.
With Eliza Doyle, and we're going on tour to a bunch of different northern communities to talk about and show off the program that she has going, which is bringing music to northern Indigenous communities.
That's sweet.
So yeah, we're doing that, and then I'm coming back for the award show, the Saskatchewan Indigenous Music Award Show, and I'm up for 3. One of them is Fans' Choice.
Woo!
Yeah,
That's
so
always
vote
gotta-
for Raven Reid.
That's got to be the best one to win, right?
I hope so.
And it's
But I'm up
as the
against so
fans.
many amazing artists, so
There's a lot.
even if I don't win, I'll be super happy for whoever does.
I love that.
Also, what else?
Residency?
Yes, the residency in
Which is
Toronto. I'm
crazy.
flying to CBC, or flying to Toronto to be part of CBC Indigenous Music Residency.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I don't know what's happening when I come back, but I
Hopefully
don't
a
know if I
break.
can handle anymore
break
after.
might be good,
Yes,
yeah.
break would be great.
No kidding. So that's one half of what you'll be getting. Again, Friday from 6 to 9 p.m. at 3 Hall is the Unplugged open mic, and then Saturday is when the bands will perform. So that's when you will see Raven, and you will also see this young lady to the left of me here, I guess to the right on the screen, either way. So, Lacy, let's talk about your sort of journey here, because I got a big write-up. How did we get to this point here? And feel free to lean right into that mic.
You bet.
There you go.
So I've been doing music around Saskatoon for a few years. I met Raven a couple years ago through music. We were friends. We were kind of in a group, briefly, but it was like scheduling stuff. So when we started playing together, I already knew her songs pretty well, so it kind of just like clicked. They're also very good songs. It's easy to learn good songs. So we've been playing together since maybe like June, May, maybe? May,
Yeah, at
June?
the beginning of the festivals,
Ooh,
festival
festival
tour,
season.
we did, festival season together, which was really awesome.
Yeah, so we got to drive all over and to play lots of great places all summer. It was
Yeah.
a very busy summer. Lots of
Lacy
fun.
harmonizes for me and
Yeah.
plays percussion, and she's amazing, so
Yeah.
I have to get the best.
That's
Yeah.
it, and you definitely got it. So now,
Yeah.
you were recording as well, Lacy, is that correct?
Yeah, last week, or earlier this week, I guess, I was over in, I'm so excited. It's with a producer that Raven introduced me to also,
Aspen.
actually. Yeah, Aspen.
Aspen's
He
the
is
coolest
great.
dude.
Yeah, a
Yes.
genius.
Oh,
So
He just won an
huge fan.
award.
Yeah, he did just win an
Yeah.
award.
How sick's that studio, Skull Creek?
It's the best. It's
so
exactly
nice.
the way that I would want to
Yeah.
record. Yeah, it's
Yeah, he's
the
doing
exact
I
atmosphere.
love when guys get out and do stuff their own way,
Mm-hmm.
and that's sort of what we try to do here. It's like, because everyone does stuff, but the way you can stand out is by doing it in your own sort of vision, and he's got
Yes.
such a cool vision out there. And it sounds like everyone who goes there just
Yeah, it
Like,
was a
he's so
blown
great
away.
experience. I got to go and record some backing vocals with Raven out there like a few months ago, and so I already knew like that I liked his style and just like the entire experience. So
Yeah.
it was a very, very good experience. We got 4 songs done in 3 days, and I am very excited about them. I'm
be-
really happy.
because you did that. So I guess not that long ago. It's going to take some time to be released, obviously, right?
Yes.
So when that happens, is there a place where people can go that we can direct them to see and
Yeah, so-
experience your stuff?
Yeah, I don't have any music released yet, so I'm not on any of the streaming platforms, but you can find me at Lacy Joyce Music on Instagram, Facebook.
There you go.
Yeah.
And that's the main reason we're here, is to remind everyone this weekend, 3 Hall is the place with the Unplugged open mic night, 6 to 9 p.m. on Friday, and then Raven Reid, Lacy Joyce, getting it on with the entire place backing. I'm sorry, that's such a weird way of saying it. They will be performing on their own, not with a whole bunch of other people going through an open mic.
We're gonna get it on.
It's a concert. Gonna get the music on, and it's gonna be great. Thank you so much to both of you guys for bearing with me here as I make my way through this journey. And I really appreciate you guys taking some time, and I look very forward to seeing you guys again in the future, because I've been talking with the boys, and all these bands that come through, we're gonna make sure to check in again down the road and keep pushing the stuff you guys got going on, because that's
Awesome.
all we
you.
want to do. Is just, growing up in the city, I've dealt with the struggle, not in bands per se, but all my buddies in bands. And the one thing I always say is, if we ever have a chance to help you out in any way, that's what we're going to do. And so that's sort of what this place is turning into a little bit, is to help out these local bands and show, guess what, people do care, and we love what you're doing, so keep doing it.
Thank you so much.
So thank you very much to both of you guys. You enjoy the weekend. And I guess it's only Wednesday, hey?
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess.
Sometimes the weekend starts early.
There you go. The weekend starts now. Raven Reid, Lacy Joyce, thank you so much, you two. And we wish you nothing but the best down the line, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
For having us.
And see, now this is the funny part where it goes the camera to me. So now you guys can just walk on over behind it. And then this is the live portion of this show that we love so much, because we're very honest with the viewer, right? We just say this is what happens, and then we got our next guy coming in, and he comes up and he comes on, and we continue rolling. So I will also, just so you know, I'll make sure Kinger and Saul get this tape, and then we'll put it out in the socials, and we'll keep pushing it. Okay. You guys are fantastic. Thank you so much again. As we continue on the show, getting local with that music. I love doing that. This next guy, you know him. He is a co-host of a very good show that's being reworked because it's too good. So unbelievably good that he's smiling right now. He's so happy to be here. He's a beautiful man. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Coach Mazer!
Well, hi there. It doesn't hit the same when there's not a crowd here anymore.
Yeah, no, it's nice.
hoping
I'm so
that-
happy that you guys cheered over there. That felt weird.
I was probably outside.
Well, that wasn't even you. I was just going to say LB. I can switch that over if you want to just toss me it. I can zoom us in.
How's everybody doing?
We're doing good.
You know when
We're doing live.
what camera are we looking at?
It'll be camera 2. Nice.
Which is camera 2 again?
Camera 1, camera 2. I just did a promo of us Wayne's
This one?
Worlding. Camera 2 is in the middle. You betcha.
So this is the one I was supposed to look at when I covered for you
It's okay.
last week.
Oh, were you doing there? Hold on. Don't tell me you Darcy Tuckered
The
yourself
entire-
again.
the entire one.
Did you do
Just
it on purpose?
tuckered. No.
Okay,
I think
'cause I
some
know you
people
love
might have
Dusty.
thought I did that on purpose, but
It could have been.
I did not do it on purpose.
This is great.
LB warned me. He's just like, you were looking a little bit at the wrong camera, and then I
Well,
I
to be
scanned
fair,
through it, and it's like the entire one. But we started
to be
here.
fair, it was your first one, right? It's
and
your first time doing
LB's
it.
fault.
No, don't ever blame LB.
Why?
It is Wednesday.
We're a team.
Oh, yeah, but
We win and lose together.
you guys are the best. Do we got our Australian friend on the line? Let's go ahead and check in with him now. You know him as an author, as a speaker, as a Saskatoonian, Saskatchewanian, Canadian, Australian, everything in between. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Coach number 1. Look at him. He looks happy today. I like this.
What's the background there, bud?
I'm sitting today. I'm not standing. So the books are up here.
Hold on.
Wait a second.
Hold on. You've
How
been
tall are you?
standing this whole time?
I knew he was standing.
I
but
didn't
just
know you
don't
stood
understand
during
that he's
these.
8 feet tall. I don't understand your house. It looks like a nice place. He's got a lovely backyard. Sometimes
can
he'll
imagine.
post photos of yogurt and berries in the morning. And he starts out the day right. And it's very inspiring. I don't. I'll have a banana after 9. But I don't have the yogurt and berries
I
and
just
nuts.
about went and grabbed a banana maze. But I'll tell you what. Remember I was telling you about the al fresco at the
Yeah.
backyard?
Yeah. A while ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, but the project is almost done. So an al fresco is just the cover for your backyard, like your deck. Anyways,
Yeah.
it's almost done, and when it's done, we're gonna do this from there. One time.
Beautiful. So
Do a
no,
tour.
it's just so I would call that like a pergola.
Ooh,
Is that a
pergola.
Canadian pergola? Is a al fresco? Is that what it is, or is that a drink?
It's fresca.
Fresca.
No,
I
no,
like fresca.
we call it a pergola. A
Pergola.
pergola, but it's
Pergola.
spelled like pergola.
Pergola. I'm not, you know that I don't pronounce things right. I'm not a English major. You will sense that often on here, and I make a lot of mistakes. You know, a highlight mistake I made in the 12th grade, Miss Farmer's class. We were
Miss
doing
Farmer, shout out.
Shakespeare, and I believe there's a part that what is this? Maybe there's Laertes in that one. Which one's Laertes in? You guys know?
Sounds like Caesar Milan or whatever it
Maybe
is.
not Caesar. It's a different one. But anyway, there's a part where a bunch of the crowd yells treason, and then we did a little video, and there's I did voiceover. So instead, we were supposed to act in front of the class, but instead, I did a reenactment movie. We went to Hugh Cairns, my elementary school. I convinced the principal to let us use the stage there. So it's like we did a play, but we did it on camera, and then I edited a bunch with the guys, and then we also did voiceover. So there's a bunch of layers to this thing. But while I did my section of voiceover, I said, instead of treacherous, I said treacherous as I'm reading along. And I didn't notice I did that, but it was one of the most embarrassing moments in class.
Treacherous.
But we still got a good grade.
Treacherous
Thanks, Miss
terrain.
Farmer. Shout out, Miss Farmer.
Yeah, she was very nice.
She's very nice.
Yeah. That's
But
Go ahead.
That might explain GWS and Geelong last week. Is the foot?
It's Geelong.
Victoria.
It's Geelong. See, you don't even know.
Good.
Yeah,
He taught you,
You
bro.
learned. That's right.
that's called reverse psychology.
That was very good. Very, very good. Okay.
We got to get into it.
Yeah, I want to get into this because I love talking about this stuff. We teased it last week. coach number one, and the it being chronic traumatic encephalopathy and its involvement in fighting in hockey as well in football as a whole. And we sort of touched on it earlier, and you wanted to jump off on this. So you take the reins here and guide us through this messy little area that is brain injuries.
All right. Well, Gary, I think it was fascinating to hear your response last week when you said, wow, I'm going to say that you're a guru on this. You're very well educated in the space, so I feel like we're going to lean on you. But obviously, with the passing of another NHL player, yeah, thanks, Base. The passing of another NHL player, and who was a goon, a fighter.
Sorry, I'm getting distracted by this incredible book.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It just, again, it brings up, I remember when, like, Wade Belak, was it Bugard?
Yeah.
Probably pronounced his name wrong. Like, when a lot of those players all seem to take their own life over a short period of time, it just made me at that time think, what is the role of fighting in hockey? Now, I'm going to say this up front because the highest level of hockey I've ever played was like midget AA. So and there's no fighting allowed. So anybody who's played professional hockey, I totally take that you'll have a different perspective on it and a different understanding of where fighting fits in the game. So this is from somebody more from a fan's perspective. But you just wonder if you're starting to see these guys take their own lives, struggle immensely, probably while they're playing and definitely after they're playing. How long do we continue with this? Do we go, that's still okay because that's what we want in the game, or that's what we need in the game? That's the question I'm throwing out.
That's a good
question.
question.
Hear what you guys think.
That is a great question. You want to go first? Or you want me to go?
Things take time to change, and the game's evolved. Just for instance, they've taken out hockey and minor hockey across Canada instead of at the Pee Wee level. U13, there's no body contact anymore. It now starts at U15, which my son's just entered. I could go in on a tangent on the fun of tiering and all that stuff, but that's not what this is about. But they've made adjustments there. I don't know if it's a good thing. You'll have an old guard that will say you need to teach kids young on being prepared and playing with their head up, because it's not just about getting hit, but sometimes accidental collisions happen. So if you play with your head up and you're prepared for anything, you'll learn the game faster. So anyway, they've already delayed it there, and there's already less hitting. It's as Don Cherry would say, a European style. There's heavy stick work. The game's faster than it's ever been, so sometimes you don't even have time to really line somebody up like you would. However, when you do, instead of just celebrating that big hit, it becomes a fight for whatever reason. You're sticking up. Like every time there's a big hit in the NHL, clean hit, especially open ice hit where you might put a star player at risk, or any player almost, where you just really got them, it turns into a melee. Now, it doesn't seem to be a full-on drop the glove things, but there seems to be a new guard of fighters in the NHL that have some skill and can score, and they're also willing to throw down, and that's kind of being celebrated again. It's like coming back a little bit. There was a little bit of a pause in that where, and all these guys are amazing hockey players growing up. They make a choice to get a paycheck and to stay relevant, to fight, but they're all amazing hockey players. But it almost got to a point where you wouldn't have George Larocque, who, if I was to race from goal line to red line and back to goal line, I would maybe beat in a foot race, right? But he wasn't there for that. But you have these players that can also fill a need on the fourth line or even the third line, and willing to fight and stick up for their teammates. So it's hard to say. I feel that they've made the changes with the head contact rule, where those predatory acts where you're catching someone on the blind side with a hit, which is even worse, I think, for CTE and issues for Mark Savard and some of these other guys have gone through. I think they've protected the players well, done a better job than what the NFL has done, and the NFL, it just takes time to make changes. So you don't see that that fighting as much, but we are seeing the old guard kind of pass on. And even Brett Favre, ALS, Parkinson's, sorry, he attributes that to repeated head contact. Is AJ frozen?
He's looking good.
I think I am. Can you guys hear me?
Well,
We can hear you
Your
perfectly,
face
yeah.
looks very stern in the freeze frame we got. LB's on it. Don't you worry. He's gonna.
I just tried to go run on there because I didn't know if you were actually there or not. But so
Yeah.
So my opinion is there a place for it? You have to have body contact. You have to be able to control the play. You have to be able to angle. You have to be able to finish your checks. You have to be physical because that's exciting. The open ice hits or those blindside hits, they've kind of deterred those where you can't finish up through a head. It has to be a little bit more controlled, and that should have been done a long time ago.
Yeah.
And when there was less equipment, in my opinion, that happened less. But as soon as we put on plastic elbow pads and all this stuff, it ended up getting a little bit out of hand. So I think they've corrected that. Maybe other people have different opinions on that matter. The fighting, you see it in lacrosse, you'll see it in rugby. People get heated. You see it in the NBA from time to time, so it still happens. Those guys usually get ejected, except for in lacrosse and hockey, and it's just you go sit down for 5 minutes and
chill out.
You get to come back. But I think the issue in 10, 15 years will be handled a little bit better. I think you'll see less and less of it. But I don't know. You'll continue to see it now and say, "Oh, we need to make a change." But I think they've made the change.
That's an interesting take. I like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot there. You gave me a lot to unpack with
Sorry.
that. As no, why do you apologize? That's a good thing.
Because I can't see AJ
As
anymore.
we wait to link back up. Well, yeah, the Australian connection can be a little bit hard at times. He's just reconnecting, so I'll wait to start my sort of.
Oh, we should have
side
a
of this.
wrestling faction called the Australian Connection.
Well, dude, we're going to be streaming No Mercy on the 64, and we started a Dufferin Avenue Media Network stable. So maybe that could be one of the tag teams. We'll get AJ in there and you.
I'll be part of
Guess
the
be the Aussie
Australian
connection.
Speaking of hockey, AJ mentioned that his highest level play was AA hockey.
I was going to say, that's not Bobcats. That's above Bobcats, isn't it?
No, that would be Bobcats.
Like
That's
tier
just what
two type of
that's
thing?
tier 1.
Oh.
So
oof.
AA, AAA would be Contacts,
Provincial?
Blazers.
Yeah.
And then you make if you don't make it there, then it goes back to AA. It's always was labeled that when you'd get to provincials and playoffs, but for some reason in your zone, back then it was called tier 1, tier 2, tier 3.
Weird.
I'm like AJ. I played junior hockey, like not SJ, but like
Where did you play?
played for the Chiefs during my midget when I was playing midget or
That's what it was.
U18, and
Did you do
just
any
a couple stints.
SJ? Any SJ?
Nothing. No, I was a late bloomer, I'd say, for hockey, and
Filthy mitts. Just filthy mitts.
not that
Love them.
filthy, but
So
I
filthy. Filth.
I got to a point where my friends were going on a trip. My buddy in the 12th grade was like, "Oh, I'm going to go, Rob Rogers, I'm going to go to Australia."
I love it.
And I was like, "Who's going to Australia?" And then Cade's like, "Well, I think we're going to go on a trip, or Rob's going out there and whatever." I was like, "You've never told me. We've been best pals. Didn't know I'm in." And then they're like, "Well, what about
What about your hockey
dates
career?
or what about all this stuff?" I was like, "That's not a real, what am I going to do? This is a once in a lifetime." So I chose travel to see Australia, and what a
So
great
ironic.
place it is.
So ironic that now we're talking,
And now we're
to
talking
someone
about
in
it.
Australia.
And we're not, because
But we're not because he's dropped a little bit, but we're working on it.
Like this is
Well, he's going to link out. There he is.
there he is.
I told you he'd be
Oh,
back.
now he's standing again.
Maybe it was the stand.
No, I've gone to the phone. The laptop or whatever is crapping out, so I'm just jumped on the phone.
This is great news. So it wasn't even our fault for once. Well, maybe.
might
I'm
have been
going
our
to at 50-50.
Okay, did you hear anything we've said?
Yeah, I heard everything and I loved it, Mace. It's
Okay.
good.
Okay. All right. So
I
here's
think the big thing is, Gary, I want to hear your thought. I think what I took away from that, Maze, was these things takes time.
Change takes time. That's all I really said. I could have just said that, and it would have been much shorter, and you probably wouldn't have broke away.
But then we wouldn't have had all that dancing while we waited to relink up.
That's true. That's good
So
practice.
it worked out well.
Go ahead.
Okay. We'll be ready? It was me? Go time? Okay. So here's where I'm at with all this. Going all the way back, Drew Remenda, I said it before, he's my mentor. He's my media mentor And when I was producing his show, it was right in the middle of like the CTE like universe blowing up. Like everyone was talking about it. They had the movies being made about it. They had all this stuff. And we had a neurosurgeon specialist from like some huge university in the States come on and talk about how subconcussive instances can generally lead to a giant, massive concussion through the whole CTE road. And every time you get a little bit of hit, it loosens the button until it gets popped, and then you're done. Eric Lindros and those type of guys who, you know, they're big, huge machines, and then all of a sudden it takes one whopper of a hit, and you're never the same.
Sidney Crosby.
All those guys. Well, he's still going.
Yeah.
So you get
Korea.
Yeah, that's my dude. He's one of my favorite of all time. I absolutely love Scott Stevens, man. Boy, oh boy. Do you remember what Paul Korea did after he took a nap there after Stevens
just came out? Game 6.
Unbelievable.
But then they lost Game 7.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. No one talks about Game 7. They talk about the time he came back.
Yeah.
So with those things in mind and learning about how it's not just the actual concussion that gets you, most of the time it's all the more minor head instances that lead to crazy, massive, full-blown concussions over time. So like you say, as much as it takes time to take all this out of the game, it's the same with the brain, in that if you keep doing that enough while you're playing, you're going to end up going down that road. And that was one of the biggest takeaways I had from that sort of era where that was all we talked about for almost a year. And it's funny you use the term guru there, AJ, because I don't know anything about, obviously everyone can agree, I'm no neurosurgeon or brain expert in any way, but I do know the fancy words that got tossed around a lot to make it look like you knew, so it's nice to know it's still working to trick people. My biggest takeaway with the hockey stuff is over and over again, we've had everybody on the outside say, this is barbaric. This needs to be taken out of the game. How dare people still play the game like this? Why are you guys doing this? We need to start signing petitions. We need to start showing them with our wallets that we do not want to see this. And that's everywhere except for in the dressing room. If you talk to the guys on the ice that are actually affected by any of this, they wish they could go back to when you could fight with more freedom. They wish that you could go back to basically playing old-time hockey, where if you're going to hit our guy like that, you're going to do something dirty, you will pay the price, and they want to police each other because there's no other way to police it. Refs can miss stuff. There's always that wild card where anything can happen and it won't be taken care of. So then you end up with every big hit turning into those scrappy little brawls that everyone loves to enjoy, because it's sort of the only way you can not exact revenge, but sort of let the guy know that's not cool, even though it's a totally clean hit. And so it's gotten to the point where you have to pick and choose your moments where you enforce that old-time hockey style. So if all of the people playing the game, if all the people that this actually truly affects want the fighting in the game and they want it to be done so they can police themselves, who the hell are we to tell them they can't? That's my hot take on it. Thoughts?
Well, AJ can go run with it if you do. If you need time to think, I do have a hot take, but I don't want to.
Go.
Okay, so I have 2 hot takes. One, MMA, boxing, still massive hits around the world. Soccer has tons of headers and stuff like that. There's been research on how just heading the ball can cause those little issues over time.
Instances, yeah.
Little shots that a quarterback takes, like Brett Favre. But I have a hot take. When you are the most elite sport of your kind in the world, so if it's Aussie rules football, obviously there's no other Aussie rules football out there, so they can make tweaks, and it might, even the MLB, you can make little tweaks to the game, and it shouldn't affect your brand too much as long as you don't go full blown. You can make minor adjustments over time, and the fans will still support it because it's still the most elite place to get your fix on that particular sport. So the NHL is the most elite place to do things. Hot take, controversial, people wouldn't like this. I guarantee that if hitting was taken out and fighting completely, right, but you get certain infractions are more heavily punished, and it's a 5-on-5 game still, I guarantee we'd still invest our time. We'd still would McDavid now score 200 points or 250 points? Maybe.
Have to
Who
rewrite
knows?
all the record books.
I'm going a little extreme, but if those things were to be eliminated completely, I still think we support that brand, because I don't think any other brand can get to that level in the next 50 years to build that brand up and just steal the market share, right? So the MLB went bigger bases. They did a pitch clock, and they said you can't pick off somebody more than twice in an at bat. And what happens at that rule? Stolen bases double. What's super exciting? Stolen bases. Back when they didn't make that much of a difference, it wasn't worth taking that risk. And now your percentage of getting those stolen bases and everything go. 2 years. 2 years ago, everyone said it was the stupidest thing.
Yeah,
we don't talk about it that much
dude.
anymore, right?
Baseball crushed that transition. It's
so you can
much
make
better.
those changes, but those rules, like my kid played spring hockey and now he's in U15, and when contacts hits to the head, even in U13 actually, when you try and angle someone out, but if you finish high, not even to finish a check, just to try and you're taught to angle to the boards and then take the stick away, take the lane away. If your shoulder touches chin or your hand, you throw a punch, it's not just like roughing, that's head contact. And I don't know if it's a 4-minute penalty or a 2-minute penalty. The understanding from the refs that I've dealt with is they don't quite know the rule or remember it, but it's called so much because we're trying to protect the head at that age and teach kids to hit properly, or in football to tackle properly. We used to do form tackling and things like that, and you don't horse collar someone to cause whiplash or anything of that. So I think those rules have been set into place to make these games safer. There's still an inherent risk when you play a physical sport, just like anywhere. So if you take out fighting completely and you don't up the punishment for knee on knee or elbows to the head or those things that are, you get a 4-minute penalty for that head contact, but if you don't give it 4 and a 10 in a game and remove that player that did a predatory act, then you have to keep fighting in the game one way or another. That's my take. I'll be quiet now.
That's a good take.
I want to get to the gambling part of this.
I wonder.
I want to see what AJ has to say, because I just talk too much here.
I love when you talk.
No. Like, I don't know if there's much to add, because both of you made good points. Like, GM, when you're talking about it's the individual player's decision, like it's their choice.
Yeah. Like, how many players do you hear saying, I want fighting out of the game? You never hear it.
No, but you know what? So I'm going to the extreme here. There are times, I'm going to lift this up to society. Society has rules and laws in place that takes personal choice or punishes certain choices. Is that fair?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. So then, now, do we take that down to the level of sport where, Maze, you were talking about this physical contact? This is ultimately, I think, what I've learned over the last week, just digging into it more and listening to you guys, is I actually don't know if it's the fighting. It's more the physical contact. And I don't know if that's what Gary Bettman says, because he says there's no link between fighting and CTE. But like Eric Lindros is a perfect example. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
He fought a little bit, but he was just more of that rough and tumble, like very physical dude.
He was big enough where he didn't have to fight. Like Zdeno Chara, he'd fight like once every couple of years just to show people he could still roll you.
I think, sorry for interrupting, the issue with mental health is being a prized fighter on a team where you're just getting a shoulder tap and you have to go fight somebody. Yeah. And it's like, coach, this is the 4th day in a row. My knuckles are raw.
The mental state of that.
My brain is numb. I just filled myself with drugs. I'm just here in case stuff. And now you just want me to go fight for maybe a momentum shift because we're down a goal in the first period. Yeah. It's like that mentality, I believe, is gone. So I don't think, like, as tragic as these stories are, it's like, oh, that guy was an old great fighter and stuff like that. I just, who's that hip one right now that, the alphabet guy, Zontag, defenseman.
Montreal.
Yeah, Zontag. Yeah. Like, there's him and there's they
call him Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi. This other dude, dang it, has left me. But
the guy in New York, the big guy, Rempe.
Yeah,
Rempe.
Yeah, that's
Rempe.
it. That's
Yeah.
it.
So who knows what type of role he has on the season? Big dude. He got it handed to him a couple times, but yeah, he went on a streak to fight. But I just don't. I don't know his mental state. I don't know if he's feeling pressured to get it done, or if he just got on a bit of a heater where he's kind of making a brand for himself too. And he's like, "How do I make a name for myself? I'll go on this run." But we find out that he can probably play like a big guy, a la Brian Boyle some big guy. So
and that is a really, really good point that we didn't really touch on yet, is how well the NHL has eliminated the role of the goon, of the guy that does that. Because besides those two guys, you can't really think of many in the game right now. And I think that spiral and the reason all these guys are intertwined by being enforcers and then also having to deal with the brain injuries and then medicating yourself to get through it, to make sure you get out for that next shift, for that next fight. Eliminating that sort of cyclone of just horribleness for mind and body, taking that out and saying, if you're going to play, you can be an enforcer, but you have to be able to play too. You have to be able to contribute, just like my main man, Bobby Probert. You know what I mean?
yeah,
When you go out and put up 60, 70 points and make sure no one touches your stars, that's the sweet spot. And so I feel like they're sort of working their way back to some sort of vision of that, which would be good to see, because having a guy go through that cycle that you just said, where you literally think about the next time you're getting that tap, and that's all you think about. In between that, while you're thinking about it, you're taking pills, you're drinking, you're getting your mind and body ready for that next round, that next bout, and to have to deal with that. They've all said the same thing in their books, and talking to people, it's the mental game that really ruins them. Knowing that this is what you're going to have to do. The fighting is the fighting. They don't care about that. It's the mental anguish you suffer in between fights that eats them up.
Even that little rat, no, I'm not the rat, but the little pest or the pesky type role player.
Claude Lemieux.
Like the Stephen Otts and stuff like that. And who's another guy that's complaining of
People would say
some
Brad
issue.
Marchand.
But we go this far, and then guys come out, and not to belittle these fighters, because they are asked a lot of back in the day. At the same time, I guarantee if those guys weren't doing that in the NHL, no offense, there'd be maybe one or two that'd be a concert pianist, one or two that would maybe be a lawyer, one or two that might be a real estate agent. I guarantee 90% of them would be fighting in bars, or they'd be fighting in a league that allows fighting, or they'd be going to a men's league and just love fighting because they're just warriors by nature. And I know for a fact, you can go watch, shout out to one of the nicest guys in the world. I've never met him, but I've seen the last name when you go to Meadow Lake and you go see the Morasti family, all big bruising kids, their whole family, you go out there and they're just like, oh, there's another Morasti, head on a swivel. This kid's going to just go in the corner, unhinged, no worries, and you love it. And then he goes berries on you. It's like, man, that's classic. I wonder what Uncle would think, if they're even related. Who knows? But you go and watch. I could go and watch Morasti fights all day long. Dude's still fighting. He's what, 48, 50, 52?
Up there.
He'll still go to a senior game and just like, you want to go? And what is he getting paid? $600? And his coach isn't asking him to do it. He's just like, I love punching people in the face and getting punched in the face. And so it's like, point. You get to a point, it's like, I need support. It's like, do you need support? Or are you trying to capitalize on a league that promoted you to do something?
And something you're passionate about.
And then you're passionate about anyway. Yeah. You wanted to do it. You came in the league doing it. Do you want a little kickback at the end? You know, we always want a kickback to be recognized for our troubles, right? That's all I hope I was looking at you. I was looking at you on a TV, but I got to be looking here or here.
Camera two, dog.
Oh, dang it.
Right there. Yeah, you're looking at me there. You're looking at me there.
I'm not, though. You're over there. I can see you.
The more I hear people talk about this and hearing you two go, it just becomes more and more complex.
Yeah.
Because now you're bringing in like the individual psyche and what they need to feel like they belong and where they're making their mark in the world. Like we're getting deep here, right? But I think, again, if I'm to wrap this up, first, like personal preference, time, or change takes time, but also I think, Maze, where you went with, you're like, if the game just completely cut it out, Like not even fighting. It actually comes down, I think, to it's what's causing the concussions. Would people still watch? I'm with you. They would. If the game would
100%.
just evolve, it would change, it would be different. It's different now than it was in the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, just like every other sport.
Mm-hmm.
But people still watch it. And it's just how quickly will that change happen? And I just can't help but think if the league could go back in time and say, and let's use Wade Belak or one of those other guys, not so much what was happening the night before they were fighting, but when they finished the game, when you hear stories of these guys having to sit in dark rooms day in, day out, and then they're turned into booze and drugs to deal with the pain. If someone said, hey, if you guys eliminate fighting, eliminate hitting, and these 18 players wouldn't have gone through it, is that worth it? That's
the question. How much?
That's the question.
How much do you put on a human being's life? I guess, right?
Oh, yep. There we go.
We got way too deep, Coach Duffer.
We got really deep.
You did it again. We went right down that rabbit hole.
I got frozen.
I will close with this.
Where are we closing?
Well, just the start talking.
Oh,
I'm assuming. How the heck are you hanging out so late? No rides today to school?
School holidays. School holidays.
Oh, of course. Perfect. Okay.
School holidays. What? What holiday? Sorry.
Every 10 or 11 weeks, the kids get 2 weeks off.
That's nice.
Friggin' Australia.
Australia, man.
You guys are so upside down, and sometimes upside down is right. You know.
It's not wrong.
Even if your toilet bowls
The other
water, go the other way.
Such
which
an
is
urban
a false
legend. Yeah, I know.
thing. It
It's
just
the first
depends
thing
on the
everyone
slope.
does. I know. It's
The
like
slope of the
Foster's
toilet.
being Australian. It's all lies. So, okay, I will leave you with this.
I like the right swirlies.
Even if we get fighting out of the game, we take hitting out of the game, it will never truly leave, I don't think. Just because people will still take that 5 in a game. They'll get their suspensions. They'll do it all. They will still find a way to police on the ice because you can't leave it up to the referees. That's what we're learning right now with the minimal sort of thirst for blood, if you will, that we see out there anymore. They're still fighting with guys knowing full well you're not supposed to be doing it anymore. We're trying to get away from it. It still happens. We still have those stupid scrums after totally clean hits. And I guess over time, it would be one of those overtime things. Eventually, maybe it'll come out of the game, but I feel like it's so entrenched in the tradition of hockey because everyone loves to say, I'm a hockey player. I'm big. I'm tough. I go to the back after I lose 10 teeth, come out, score a goal for you. That's what I do. Stitch me up. Like that tough guy mentality of being a hockey player. I would love to see everyone on a bench not move an inch when their star player gets destroyed with an illegal hit. That guy's already leaving the game. He's going to be suspended for however long it's supposed to be because this isn't allowed anymore. Could you imagine that guy skating by the bench and doing one of these and have no one jump and take care of him?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's such a crazy thing to think about.
But it just depends on what's a punishable offense.
Yeah, oh, for sure. How do you punish it?
How you want to police that. And I think there's ways to protect
Well, I'm sure
the star
there is.
players.
I'm sure there is. I just don't know what it would be.
Yeah, exactly. You'd have to figure out, and as the game evolves, you go back and some of the scary thing is when you get into a fight, you're on a very hard surface like ice, and you get knocked cold, and then if your combatant has maybe zero respect or just gets lost in the moment, knocks you out, lets go, and then let you crumble and fold on your own. But you see some good fighters, they know they got a guy, and it's like, I'm going to put you, slowly, like rock you to sleep here and gently put you down. But the Nick Kyprios one is maybe the most all-time rank fights where he just smashes his face on the ice and then just like wasn't the same player. There was a Philadelphia Flyer one too. That was more recent, but still like 15 years ago, where it was, just scary, right? Just like it's a scary thought to that happening. But I still think it's those little tags. Like Brett Favre didn't take his helmet off and feed dudes in the face over and over again. I mean, there's fighting, UFC fighting. I guarantee a lot of these Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys don't have CTE concerns whatsoever. Some of the boxers may, some of the fighters may, some of the guys that get tagged and then the ref's too slow and the dude repeatedly gets knocked in and out of consciousness with 3 or 4 or 5 more tags. That guy might have an issue at some point. His brain got shook. Yeah. But yeah, these little touches are things.
That's it.
Anyway, you could take fighting. Long story short, you could take fighting out if you wanted to, AJ, as long as there's a way to police and the rules protect your stars, because that's what puts. No one's going to see. Go down the list. Kajula, Drake Kajula for.
I like to see Dangles for the Oilers.
Yeah,
I like Dangles.
He's a good guy. Kyle's lost interest in him, but crazy Kyle. Shout out Kyle if you're watching.
He never.
But you go to see McDavid. You go to see all these star players. You have to protect them. And so if there was none of that in the game, and you could still see someone skating as fast as Usain Bolt can run, and then doing it with a hockey stick and a puck at the end of the stick and on skates, on edges. It's beautiful to watch that stuff. People would still support that. But you still, a little bit of physicality still sells, and there's still a market for that.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
Yeah. The other option is, it was on TV last Saturday night. There's always these old movies on. Hunger Games.
Ooh.
I think we should bring those back for sure.
That
was a documentary. Well, it was a future-mentary. Yeah, it was a future documentary.
Oh God, I hope not.
Yeah, but I think that's a great thing.
Letting the kids kill each other? Is that what you're talking about?
To maintain order.
Survival of the fittest?
For sure.
I'm more like survival of the fattest, honestly.
I'm ambigation. No, that's the wrong movie.
Okay, we have to wrap this up. We do have a previously recorded segment. Adrian, thank you so much for this incredible talk.
I don't care. We have a thing to put a wager on, and we planned that, and our brains suck because you have
finals of the AFL.
Finals of the AFL. So who's in the final? Quick,
Google. Who we riding?
The Blues,
Sydney and
Brisbane Lions,
and Sydney Swans.
Swans or the Lions?
The Lions, 100%.
Okay.
I'll
put some money on it.
What can we have? Just you, or am I wiring you some cash?
We're gonna do. I'll see if I can do. We'll chat.
You know
we'll
what's
put
crazy?
It in the group chat. I gotta get to this 3-day. We have
I
to
can
introduce
wire
our newest member
cash
of the
to
team.
Australia.
I know, dude. That's not crazy.
Wow.
My dad did that when I was there last. He wired me just enough to get a ticket and to get home, because I spent everything
In the mailbox.
No, he
Western
wired it
Union.
into my Australian bank account. Anyways, AJ, thank you so much. Go Brisbane! Coach number
All right,
one.
go the Lions.
Here we go, Lions! Yeah! Good stuff. And now, see, we're just on time. We're going to go straight from here into a previously recorded segment where we are going to introduce the newest member of our team. Let's go ahead now, LB, and do just that. This is a new person, a human being.
Hello.
That has been around these parts for a bit. You may know her from some television appearances over the years. She, around here, is one of our favorite people. Her name is Emily May, and we want to say welcome to you, Emily May.
Thank you so much, Gary.
Do you think we can make this any more awkward?
Probably not.
I'm sure there's things we could do.
We could try.
Yeah, but this is the beauty of doing these previously recorded segments, because there's no real natural way to get into them.
Yeah.
So I sort of like to lean into the awkwardness a little bit, because I think it's kind of funny.
I like that, though.
Yeah.
It made me more comfortable.
See, look at that. You already sound more
I now
comfortable.
feel
This is
welcome.
Great. This
Thank
is
you
good
for
stuff.
inviting me into your home.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for agreeing to help out and become a part of this little family that we got that continues to grow here. As the reason you are here is we're about to do some voicing for some imaging stuff, which is very exciting. So we're going to get you on some intros and extras and in between bros and all the other stuff that we need to get done voice-wise. And we're also going to sort of venture out and continue to chase dreams.
Yes.
Isn't that fun? I feel like that's the best way to word what we're doing here now. It's just a bunch of jabronis chasing dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gary is making dreams happen.
Well,
you give Gary a nickel, he'll give you $1.
We're all making it happen. That was very good. Just the right amount of cheesiness. I like that. And part of that includes getting you in here and then getting you out and about, as we are looking to sort of expand outside the Dufferin Avenue Media Network content creation studio inside the Sotner Concrete Services Clubhouse and embark on to more adventures in this beautiful city of ours. And so with that in mind, I think the idea sort of off the start is to send you into local businesses and get to know them, then maybe bring them back here and show off some of their cool stuff that they got and just get the word out, right? Is that sort of what we're thinking?
I was thinking that, yes, and if we could get into the buildings, you know, get some behind the scenes, see how things are done here locally, and then get to try or talk about the product. Yeah.
It's a very simple idea that is proven to work, as a lot of businesses, and this is what I'm learning around here as well as a new business, the hardest part that businesses have is actually showing people what you do and explaining to them how you do it. And this is a great way to go right to the source and say, oh, so this is how this is done, this is why, and this is what we get from it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And go Saskatoon. We love Saskatchewan. We love local things. So what a good way to showcase that.
We do. And speaking of that, I know you got a gig coming up here this weekend. You're doing some in-stands work for the Huskies?
Yes, the University of Saskatchewan football game here this weekend.
Woo! You excited?
Ruff, ruff, ruff. Yes, I'm very excited. I'm planning on doing that to intro the game.
Now, it sounds like you're just filling in this one time, but I think if you do that, you'll probably get the gig for the rest of time.
I was thinking that's going to be my little secret tool.
Yeah, you can
anytime
be
the crowd goes mild, I just
ruff, ruff, ruff. Barking at it.
to get their attitude fixed.
So a little bit about you. Can we get a little background of your journey that got you to this beautiful place of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan? Because I know you're very young, but your story is still pretty cool to me. Anyway.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think
Do you want from the start or?
If you want, whatever you're comfortable with. I don't know.
Okay.
I just want people to get to know you because we all know each other around here, and you're the new gal. So just introduce yourself.
Okay. Well, lived a few places.
Yes.
Born over in England, so that was pretty fun. Came to Ontario, lived there.
Keep going. Don't worry.
That was also very fun. Lived there for a while. And then I went to school there, and then I moved to Fort St. John, British Columbia.
Yeah, baby.
Very north, very small town, but
Fort St. John. My buddy Cliff, super hot Cliff, lives there.
Everyone knows Fort St. John. It's the biggest city in Canada, so that was really cool to meet John. I met him there before I even knew Gary. Isn't that crazy? And then I came to Saskatoon. Oh, sorry, I went there for a job. I came to Saskatoon for a different job within that industry. And then that's how we kind of did meet, through the network of people that no longer worked in the industry.
Oh my goodness.
And then I wanted to
do so well. This place has sort of become the rehab facility for people in broadcasting.
Yes. And then I decided to sign myself into rehab. And here we are.
We welcome you with open arms.
And they did.
And it's such a good story.
It is.
It makes me very happy. So you have a hockey background, is that correct?
No. Figure skating?
Figure skating background?
Figure skating background. Track and field. I've never played hockey.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out how the heck you got doing hockey stuff with the Huskies.
We're in Canada.
It's a great answer.
I don't play it, but hey, I can talk to people in the stands
about
it.
Yeah.
And they can come on the field and do fun games with me.
So this is good.
I can make the crowd laugh. That's what it's about, truly.
And I
entertaining,
that.
Yes.
What else do you like to do with your time?
Ooh.
I know it's a stock question.
That is. You didn't even tell me beforehand
I didn't
you would
tell you
ask
any of this
that.
stuff. I didn't even say we were going to be introducing you like this. I'm just sort of going with the flow.
I know. This has been a whole... Okay.
You're on it.
Well, I really like sleep. That is my...
Here.
Yeah. I could go to bed at 7 p.m. and sleep until noon and be completely good, not even drowsy. So that's what I...
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Yep.
It's a big accomplishment.
And
then I like the gym to
Get
curl
your
some
pump
weight.
on, get the lift going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then, I'm getting into crocheting.
Here we go. Now this is the good stuff.
It's really hard. It's really hard. Yeah.
Kind of
I
like a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like over-unders.
Yeah, and I could knit, and I was like, oh, crocheting will be easy. No, it's tough. So I've had to switch to YouTube. So that's what I'm currently doing. I'm trying to learn to crochet. Oh, and play the ukulele sometimes
Come
to
on.
myself. Yep.
Bro, we have two ukuleleists.
Who's
now.
the other ukulele?
Brooksy also plays the ukulele.
We could start our own little band.
I think we got like a 9-piece band now here. We have. It's, that's it. I think we're gonna form a new new niche
create
in the
a
music
new-
biz. Yeah, I think that would be good.
It's perfect for Dufferin Media Avenue.
That's
to
right.
create a whole new genre.
We like to what's it called? Trend set. Sure. And they always make fun of me because I'm always saying, well, if no one else is doing it, we should totally do it. But most of the time, there's a reason people don't do stuff.
That's true.
That's sort of like the yin and yang of the whole thing. Sometimes it really works out because you're the only one doing it.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's a reason nobody does it.
But maybe no one's taking that first step.
That's it too.
And that's what you just got to make.
So many different little things that we have to think about around here. So we got you doing your thing out there. We're going to bring it in here. We got you crocheting. Are you going to crochet anything for us? Could use some stuff on the set.
I could. I'm trying to crochet a little blueberry right now.
Perfect.
So I could
Starting
add that.
small. I like that. How do you crochet a blueberry?
I don't know. It was a little kit. Came with a
Perfect.
blueberry, a strawberry, and a raspberry, with
Dude.
little faces and smiley
So
faces.
this is like sort of like a Lego type of thing.
Yeah, but harder.
Well, obviously.
Way harder.
No disrespect to Lego, of course.
I love Lego. It's just expensive. Crocheting or Lego?
Dude, LB.
2 for 2.
LB.
Gary's next.
Who would have thought? Man, I'd probably stab myself so bad with those things.
They're circled, so you physically can't
Well,
unless
the
you
hook part.
that's circled in.
Yeah, like what if I get myself there or something? I don't know. I tend to hurt
But I
myself
want to
with the
watch you
stupidest
try and
stuff.
crochet because how on earth
You know what?
do you do that?
Next time, you bring your crochet stuff in here, and we'll do a live
Well,
crocheting.
okay.
And I'll show you how to stab yourself with hooked crochet. What do you
Plastic
call them? Sporks?
too. I don't even
What do
know.
you call them? Crochet sticks?
Crochet hooks.
Hooks?
Yeah.
Seems weird.
I'll bring my needles instead. Then you can
Okay.
stab
Then I can
yourself.
really get, okay, yeah, that can really show off my incompetence. That's
Yes.
what we tend to do around here.
I
All
like
right,
that.
young lady, I feel like we've introduced you. I feel like everyone knows all about Emily May.
Yeah.
And I feel like you are about to change the world for the better, which is what we're all about around here. So thank you for jumping on board and doing some stuff and getting creative and chasing dreams.
Thank you so much for allowing my dreams to be chased.
It's, you know, even then, it still feels so, because there's no allowance. We're so happy to have you, but I know it's the right thing to say. So it's like, it
Yes.
sounds weird, but that is the proper thing to say.
You didn't allow it, but you didn't allow it by authority, but you allowed it by freedom.
There you go.
And that is the most important thing.
Yeah, I always struggle with these things because I hate anything being about myself. You know what I mean? It's like so weird. So anytime anyone says like you this or you that, I'm always like, whoa, 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 not me, us, all of us. This is a team. It's a family. You know?
That you created.
Yeah. And then I get awkward again. No, we all created
Okay,
it.
moving on.
Either way, you'll be seeing more of her. Thank you again for giving us a couple minutes today, and we look very forward to seeing you again very soon.
Well, thank you for listening to all my boring life story. I
Really
appreciate
good.
that.
I was very entertained. I'm telling you right now, that's good stuff. So there you go. That is our new friend, Emily May, who we'll be seeing more of as we move forward with our incredible team here at the Dufferin Avenue Media Network. LB, let's go ahead and get our Frankies on. We had a really funny that I said before and I forgot already. What was it? Do you remember? Frankie's Dingers. Oh, I love you. Frankie's Dingers instead of Frankie's Fingers. What a great show today. Thank you to both of the artists who will be playing at 3 Hall this Saturday night as well. They will be doing some songs during the Unplugged Open Mic Night over at 3 Hall on Friday from 6 to 9 p.m., bringing music back to Broadway thanks to our good buddies in Bloom Entertainment. It's going to be a fantastic time. You go there, maybe you want to go for a little date, go have some supper, enjoy some Unplugged Open Mic Night, and get you home and in bed by 9:30. Or get you out and rolling through Broadway like we used to back in the day. Just make sure you don't take any alcohol in the streets or else you'll end up getting doubled to the police department like one of our buddies did with a pint. Actually, he didn't get doubled. He ran away. He asked the officer if he was going to double him to the police station, and then he ran, and the officer got mad. Anyways, point is, be nice to police officers. They're just trying to help. Lacy Joyce and Reid. Friday night, 3 Hall, 6 to 9 p.m., and then they're playing an actual show on the Saturday night, so that'll be a lot of fun. To Coach Mazer getting in here and having a very good talk. I was very proud of everyone involved. That was very fun to be a part of. This guy right here, Coach number 1, a.k.a. Adrian Balarjon. Thank you to both of those guys for coming in and talking about chronic traumatic encephalopathy and whether fighting should be in hockey. That was very good. And to our new family member, Emily May, who will be helping out around here, doing some voicing, doing some show stuff, and all the other cool stuff you get to do when you're a part of this little family that we have here. As always, most of all, thank you to you for tuning in and enjoying whatever crazy thing we're up to each and every day from 4 to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday, live right here. This is another great example of how these live show goes and how being live can contribute to making the show a little bit more magical. So thank you to everyone. And LB, always LB. I thank him enough. You know, I feel like I overthank him sometimes, but sometimes you have to overthank the people that are really, really awesome. So thank you to you, brother. Remember, karma is very, very, very real, all right? So do good things and they'll start happening to you. We'll talk to you tomorrow.